And welcome. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is Logistical Nightmare Racing. Tuesday night, team versus team. And this week, I am kind of excited because, one, I'm on point. Last week, I nearly messed up the whole stream because I assumed that I was actually live and I wasn't. Thankfully, individuals got a hold of me and then made me aware of the fact that I wasn't live. So those that haven't seen the season thus far or haven't been a part of what is occurring, I don't know how to explain this or how to elaborate this, but again, mini endurance racing, team versus team style that we have and kicked off this season in 2023. From where we stand at the present moment, we've done and dusted 2 races already. We're now at round 3, Silverstone. Again, fan favorite track of this one. Last week we had Suzuka mid-morning to early morning sunrise drive, which was fairly eventful for the individuals that did take part. Again, quite a few hiccups here with servant leeches on individuals apparently struggling to do all their pit stops and strategies. Now, this week, I'm going to find it interesting because I'm not even 100% sure how to approach this. What I know is the guys are currently doing their practice sessions. We are looking at C Mooney here, or Col Mooney, with a Mad Panda Motorsport team, just doing a bit of warm-up laps while it's soaking wet at Silverstone. Now that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Any individual that has eventually traveled aboard, or even those that have found their path towards the UK central area, would probably know that a wet day in the UK is like a sunny day in Jamaica. They just go hand in hand. So this doesn't surprise me. The weather conditions does though, because it's kind of hot for a rainy day. But hey, this is just gonna be epic. Apart from that, the boys are gonna do a 20-minute race, and then of course a bit of a break and another 20-minute race. So it's a 2 by 20-minute sprint race, team versus team racing style. And what I've gathered is that there's no mandatory pit stop requirements based on how it's all configured. Now, of course, the same scenario we have had last week is yet again a shocker of the grid. So, see if I can get this through probably as quickly as I can. I see an individual is already not there at the present moment, and this is just me. But again, from pole position we have Paul Fainter, should be Alan Patterson right next to him, but he is not there at the present moment, followed by Neil Bullion in the McLaren. Right there, there is Alan Patterson, beautiful BMW livery there. Then we have, of course, Neil Bullion in the McLaren. He is then followed by Wilfred Robson in the secondary system McLaren. And we have car 998 here with Jacques Vermeulen, followed by V Nel in their BMW in car number 8. Then of course we have Skutter in car 333 with the Aston Martin, followed by Van Wyk in the McLaren, the Lamborghini, apologies, for car 210. Car number 17 is R. Duplessis in their BMW. In 10th position we have Gary van der Haar, 122 in the Aston Martin. Then we have a bunch of BMWs not far off it. So again, D. Hall, who had a good race but not so good race last week. M. Sabata from Pace Motorsport. E. Mattoon from, I can't even remember what it was. And then of course, last but not least, Meyer from Vieren and Mooney sitting there at the back of the grid. So, to my knowledge, the grid positions is not based on where individuals qualified, because those who have joined the stream would have seen that the boys were actually doing a practice session. So grid positions was based on where the point standing is of the season thus far. So let's just do a walk down of that. So the team currently leading the championship at the present moment based on season standings. I actually gotta go get that information so that I do not get it wrong. Is the Honda with Team Blixem and his wall, followed by looks to be the Audi ERA Specials, which is the car I'm missing at the present moment. That's probably why there was such a weird grid formation. Again, in my logic, based on what I saw, Alan Patterson then was second, but nonetheless, the PWSR is currently running third in championship positions, followed by the LNR Bull and Jazz, the LNR Cheese and Wine, LNR Pop and Vors. Then we've got Chasing Beavers, LNR Academy, Holson Motorsports, and then MC Racing in 10th place. So those are your top 10 team standings at the present state, and this is how the grid has presented itself. Now, that makes it for an interesting event, because again, last week we had this whole back to front grid position start, where it was all defined on how the individuals finished the race of the previous one, which was round one, and this week we had got grid positions based on point standing. So I think we're going to see some good racing in general, because from the looks of things, we have the top end boys, or the boys that have done well thus far through the season, and we're only halfway through it, are at the front of the starting grid. So not a lot of hard work they have to do for qualifying. All they got to do is make sure they have the car, the setup to manage a 20-minute race. I mean, surely this cannot be that hard. Now, I say this with heavy faith, but we all know Corps, Meggets and Beckett's, Stowe, and then of course if we go back into Abbey on lap 1 is where it's going to get interesting. Now we've got 16 good qualified drivers here, so these boys should be skilled enough to keep it clean. And I've generally found that once the track is wet, guys are more cautious and very observant at the same time, even though if you look through the window you can't even see anything in front of you. So I'm curious to see what the start will do. This is a sprint race epic position, so in general I fear that there will be a hint of aggressive or aggression at the start of the race, because 20 minutes is not that long. In 20 minutes everything can go absolutely perfect for you or horribly wrong. Sitting in the seats of these guys, knowing that whatever goes through their mindset at this moment, their focal point should be one or two things: stay clean, stay away from troubles, keep it simple, and just finish. That's kind of what they need to do. Now they got to do that twice this evening, so that might be a bit hard, but let's see how that goes. On stream, who do we have this evening? I haven't even said hello to anyone. So again, Ashley, Jude, Dave, Sean Lorello, welcome boys. Good to see everyone. I think we're gonna have a good eventful start. I've got my wine bottle on my right hand side, wine glass on the left hand side, and then I'm gonna kick those controlling mechanisms as best I can to hopefully see all the action. We wait for the green light. There we go. Bump it off. Green light done. Guys going into Corps. So far it looks fairly clean. Incidents there already. I immediately picked up that an Aston Martin probably went a bit too wide. It doesn't seem like the incident was that bad. The top boys, however, have made it through successfully, and Paul Venter is trying to get away from Alan Patterson at the present time, but he is also very well aware that there is 3 LNR cars right behind him, and by the looks of it, that BMW just got through Maggots and Beckett's far better than what the Honda did. So this is all about tire warms. They wanted to go side by side there through the first corner. Patterson yielded again. It's all about intelligent driving. Make the move stick when it needs to. Takes a big dive in there. That is a big cut. Ooh. Slight contact between the BMW and the Honda. Now, in all fairness, the move seemed to be there. Made it stick. I just think caught Paul completely off guard when he turned his car back into it. Now again, going through Abbey, Honda seems all good, done and dusted, but trying to get back the position. Is he going to cut on the inside line? No, he doesn't. Makes a slight tag on Alan. That's just racing incidents, what it looks to me at the present moment. A few nudges and scratches, but these nudges and scratches has put Mayer in the mix there. Mayer has capitalized on all these little mistakes that these boys have made in the beginning of the race. Where did he come from? Like, in all fairness, he has gained 11 positions from his starting grid. What the hell? Shocked, surprised. I have no clue how that occurred. Penalties already being dished out by the penalty masters themselves, our steering team. Where did this pink car come from? Someone needs to tell me, because I am confounded as to how this man has made up 11 positions in one lap. Making those tires work, squiggling it here and there. He just looks like a demon on wheels. Unbelievable. So, accidental point, race log. Oh, let's just see. A couple of incidents here and there. Contact between a few guys. Of course, we did see a couple of contacts between car 101 and then, of course, 777. They didn't make it easy for one another to do the moves. And again, another surprise. Look at the Lambo in 5th place. Gained 3 positions from grid starting point. So that is very nice to see the MR cars up there. And I find it strange. Like, we've got one front engine car leading the race, which is Alan Patterson. And that kind of doesn't surprise me because I think stability is key here. I believe the BMW M4 will provide the drivers that, based on the setup they do, it will potentially have some good outline speed and so forth. The MR cars will struggle a bit, that is my thought, but in all fairness, it just doesn't seem like that's the way. And I'm going to go at the back of the grid where it just seems all interesting, like, oh, big contact there. Gerard Johnson van Vieren in his Nissan got connected with, I don't know who, but it looked like it was Duplessis. It gave him a bit of a shunt as they entered into Abbey. Now I think the guys currently from 10th place and above, and in fairness, that's Neil Bullion. He's going side by side there with a poor Jacques Vermeulen. Don't think it's very wise because it's going to be exceptionally slippery on the outskirts of that corner. Skitter in the pits as it is, which I still find surprising, and he's been in there from the word go, so I reckon he has called that is his race. That is kind of probably his race for the day. There is no mandatory pit stop requirements at all from any individuals. Going back to the front again. So Alan Patterson leading by pretty much just over under a second. He's still being hunted down by Mayer, who, in my honest view, has just had a phenomenal start. I genuinely don't know where that came from. Nonetheless, that is where the action is. Lee Bullion, on the other hand, is sitting in 4th place. Now, he is being chased down by V now. Now, of course, driving the BMW for Chasing Beavers. They did lose a few spots from where they gained the spot from where they started, so no loss for them at all. And then, of course, at the back of the pack, we have so much action. We have Kyle van der Berg here driving for Pace Motorsports, trying to keep everyone right on his tail away. So as we look at that livery of the Pace Motorsports, we've got C. Mooney there in the Panda Mercedes, trying to chase him down, getting through Abbey. Now Abbey is tricky even in dry conditions. Doing it in wet conditions, we all know you have to reduce your speed, get your line, but minimize your throttle, as the Panda car makes a big mistake there. Now he is going to be under severe pressure there, because that will compromise his speed. That Porsche looks quite nifty too, and so does the BMW. Who's going to cut on the inside? Porsche makes a move on the BMW. Does the BMW do it? No, BMW goes deep. So does the Mercedes. That big, ooh, in-rush collision nearly there. As everyone tries to avoid everyone else. Skitter back out on track again. Now he didn't stay in the pits and called it quits. He is out and racing. Again, no mandatory pit stop requirement, so he is probably a whole lap down at the moment. Plenty of work for him to do, but I like I said, 20 minutes of racing is just gonna bring so much action. These boys heart pumping, pulses racing. All they want to do is win and get in there and get stuck into it. Every second counts in a 20-minute race. And this is where it sits. Skitter going way off track again, comes back into it. But Mooney right on his rear end. Now this is guys fighting for position though, so at some of the point you can't really interfere, as another contact is made. Skitter, in all fairness, not having his best races, but you also got to be cautiously aware the individuals in front of you are also doing their race. Nel Pullian cutting on the inside as he heads into Abbey. Will he have the speed? Mercedes goes very wide again, puts the BMW on him, 3 wide, 4 wide. Oh, boys are struggling this evening. Skitter back in the mix again. Like, there's so much action here, I can't keep track. I'm just going to leave it there and let you boys watch, because that's kind of where I'm sitting at the moment. Skitter, deep cutting, he's had enough. Take the track cut, he just wants to get away. Mooney fighting again. He is just doing his utmost best to keep everyone on away, and him not making that many mistakes will just allow him to go forth. Now, going back to the front again, Alan Patterson, he is being heavily chased down by that Honda. It just seems like that Honda has got a beautiful setup for the weather conditions this evening. Not taking away from that pixel art BMW, and in all fairness, that is gorgeous. Yes, I do sound biased. I sound biased. I always sound biased. But everyone who knows me, that has driven with me, that has spoken to me, that lives with me, or whatever the case may be, I do drive the BMW on sim racing, but simultaneously I also drive it in real life. So, love the car. That's kind of all I'm saying at this moment. So, Alan has created a bit of a gap between himself again, so probably just a slight bad luck for him. Filtering his way through again. Back at the grid, we still have Van Wyk doing phenomenally well from his grid start positions. Keeping Van der Haar at bay, not really gaining that much on Lee Bullion, who is in 5th at the moment. But back of the pack, these boys here still at each other. Now again, there's lots of penalties here and there. I see Mooney with a 5-second penalty, now Bullion with a 5-second penalty, D Hall with a 5-second penalty, and then of course Skitter, that is 2 laps down, he too has 5-second penalty, and then this whole train of individuals, Mooney, Mouton, Bullion, Hall, Duplessis, and then Van Vieren as the BMW comes in. Now they are very cautious. Oh, McLaren, big mistake there by him. I don't know what actually happened, but based on line, I just want to see how this turns out before I go back to the situation of Nel Bullion. It seems like that BMW definitely has it. Going back into the race. Let me see. Bullion. I think I've gone a bit too far back. I might just miss the scenario where he had an incident. Yeah, a bit too far back for a replay. Bullion now all the way to the back of the grid. Mouton has managed, of course, to make the move on Mooney. Now the question remains is, can he keep him at bay? LT Racing Bulldog Academy making moves, going forward, all at the moment, at also trying to get through, but he is subsequently aware of two individuals right behind him, a BMW and a Nissan. Now, quite interesting to see a Nissan on track though. I believe there's a couple of these individuals that really gonna sit back and go, I could have done better, that could have been better. Oh, Hall going deep, misses his brake marker by far. Like, that just looks like the, from all the way at the back of the grid. Thankfully everyone was very well aware of it. Now, how is he going to filter back in? That's the big question. Because in fairness, did try and make a move based on where we stand, potentially gained a position, but that might not be ours of a fault. 3 BMW boys fighting each other out with a Nissan in the mix and a McLaren. This is rough. How do they do this? It's like 4 hungry dogs trying to pounce onto a bone, which is just impossible. Again, hard to perceive off the track there. Something definitely did happen in that mix. Gonna see if he and now Bullion had contact together. Both of them come out of the corner very nicely. Of course, Bullion takes the inside line. Duplessis goes very wide and loses traction. That has just given him a spin. So again, normal conditions. Back to the front of the grid where we have a bit of action in the mid-pack. These boys are fighting for sixth position, trying to catch up onto Lee Bullion in the system McLaren there for Team Cheese and Wine. So most of the action sits here at the back of the grid. I'm sorry to everyone that wants to see the leaders. I reckon Alan Patterson is doing a phenomenal job at the front of the pack. Meyer, who came out of nowhere, gained 11 positions at the grid starting point, is currently running in second. And then of course Paul Fainter, the grid pole sitter, as the hands have changed. Just saw that vastly and quickly, so I gotta go back and check that out. Just missed it briefly. So as we go through Abbey, Meyer was right behind Alan Patterson. Alan Patterson goes very deep, missed his brake marker, opened the door for the Honda, had no choice but to yield before carrying on. So new championship race leader is Meyer in the Honda from ISR. I have no idea where this man came from, but this week is their A game. Like, what a race start. What? Just kept it clean, just kept it simple. Nose clean, nose out of all the troubles, made the moves where it counted, had the warm tires at the beginning of the races, capitalized on those who made mistakes, and has got 4 minutes of the racing left. A Honda in potential pole, followed by a BMW in second, followed by another Honda in third. Back at the back, we still have big battles going on here. Mooney is in the mix with his Mad Panda Motorsports Mercedes-Benz. Nell Bullion not that far. He is on the rear end of the Nissan there. who's currently being driven by Gerard Janssen van Vieren. I think the Nissan would have the straight line speed to keep that McLaren at bay. Dylan Hall, on the other hand, has gone backwards again. The amount of times positions have changed in between these guys fighting for that 10th place is unbelievable. 3 minutes left of racing. Gerard going for the move. No, but again, Dylan Hall going deep again. Misses his brake marker. Niall Bullion saw that coming. Got safely through, but lost a few positions. Merc and Nissan side by side through Abbey. Ooh, this is going to be close. Yo, nail-bitingly close. I reckon that Merc... I'm not going to comment on that one, but I am definitely going to go look at that replay. Because that just looks very, very crazy. So we've got a slight touch there. We get that all done and dusted. Van Vieren goes on and continues forward and then makes contact with the Mercedes. Now, in all fairness, I do not think... I hope that was not what I think it is, but I'm going to go move on. That's for the racing stewards to go and have a look at. That just looks very, very dangerous, coming back onto the track, having no visual representation of where the other drivers were, and then creating another contact incident. Going to the leader of the race, just under 2 minutes of racing left. Now, of course, to my surprise, the Honda is in the lead. We are going through Corps at this moment, so that means this will probably be their final lap. No, it's not. That is Abbey. My humble mistake. It just looks the same. So go through Abbey. I don't believe they're going to finish the race with this lap at this stage. So I reckon one more lap is definitely on the cards. Van Wyk, on the other hand, has managed to secure 5th place at this moment. Lee Bullion has dropped a couple of spots. He's now all the way back in 10th place. But mid-pack racing, this is where the action is at the moment. So we've got a Lamborghini versus a Aston Martin. And then, of course, we've got the Porsche with Jacques Vermeulen, who's trying to make big moves there on the Aston.
Okay, the leader is on the final lap now. Give it all you can.
That looked like a very easy move. Had the straight line speed coming out of the final exit. Therefore, easy to capitalize. Again, hit and miss there between Bullion and Van der Haar, who nearly collided with each other. A bit of a gap now created there. The question now stands, does that Porsche have the legs to make up a position in the final laps? I reckon the top 4 are pretty much secure unless they actually make a big mistake, which can happen. I reckon it's very possible. I'm still curious as to how this will evolve. That Porsche on the straight just looks epic. Look at him go through Maggots and Beckett on the outskirts where it is the wettest. Lamborghini doesn't really go defensive. He has no choice but to yield, allowing the Porsche to get that position. Now all he needs to do is just make sure that he doesn't lose one more spot, but is he going to fight for it back? Not necessarily. Keeps at bay, knows what he is fighting for is in his hands. Just checking where we are in the final corners here. These guys still have a bit of racing to do. Everyone at the rear end has plenty of penalties. Wet races, wet races. 20-minute sprint wet races. This is kind of what I feel is the expectation. I hate to say that, but calling a spade at the present moment. Final corner for the race leader, who has gained 11 positions from the grid start. Wins it with a smile. Chased down by Alan Patterson, who made one tiny error. Paul Fenter and Alan had it head by head from the beginning of the race. And then, of course, V Null, who I hardly spoke about in chasing Beavers, in fourth position. Porsche will definitely take fifth place. Great race and comeback from these boys. Gotta admit, that was quite eventful. Van Wyk in the Lambo in 6th, Gary van der Haar in 7th, Lee Bullion in 8th, Kel van der Berg, Pace Motorsports in 9th, and then other Bullion boy, not so sure if he's going to get the 10th place. He's got a 5-second penalty, so that's going to be subtracted from there. I reckon Duplessis and Mouton will probably take that final spot, but that was a race. Plenty of interesting action. I don't know about you guys, what you noted, but whew, I need to take a breather there now. Shenanigans, it was great racing. I reckon it was there. I just think signs of I want to win it in 20 minutes was the clear evident winner there. So let's just go look at this. Timetables from a race standpoint. We've got Mayer with his teammate Bauer, who has taken the victory for the first race of the 20 minutes, followed by A. Patterson, of course, Chris Dos Santos in second position for Team PWSR. Then the leading championships of the series thus far in third, Paul Venter and Stradom. Then we got Vinal and Varonas in the BMW fourth. Vermeulen did an epic drive, comeback drive, I believe. Apologies. Epic comeback drive. And then we have Van Wyk, Van der Haar, Lee Bullion, Van der Berg. It looks like how everything is calculated. Now Bullion does seem to have gotten 10th place, Duplessis 11, All Mouton, Mooney, Van Vieren, and then Skutter at the back, who I believe had an incident at the race start, really struggled to get back into it because every time he tried to race, he just got into the mix of everyone else battling and fighting. I reckon from my point, we're gonna have a short break. What I'll do is go on a quick rest break and then be right back shortly. Okay. Do I have everything? Yes, I do. Ooh, I've added a few things on me that I don't want to see. I don't want to see. Welcome back again. Hello everyone. Race 2. Second teammates are doing their 20-minute race. So now I got the whole spiel. I kind of understand where everything sits. No one told me all these things, so I catch up during the course of the night. Those that missed race 1, give you a quick recap. We're doing two 20-minute races this evening. First race done and dusted, off the plate. It was epic, eventful. An individual that was 11 places down the grid managed to work its way through all the way to first place. Shocking surprise by a Honda. Alan Patterson did try and defend it. Paul Venter, who was the driver of the pole position, didn't manage to capitalize on it, but ended up having a fantastic race. In all fairness, all the action was at the back of the grid and the middle of the grid because people were fighting, clawing, kicking, screaming, scratching. I don't know how else to elaborate it. It looked bloody, glory, messy, great, all over the show. So, yeah, that's what Silverstone can bring it. I mean, it can have a fantastic race day, or it can absolutely make it one of your worst nightmare races ever. And of course, as we know it, wet races just never is an easy situation. It's just not easy. So 2 seconds to go. Boys on track. Again, these are the second teammates or driver 2 taking a stab at hopefully getting some good points for the races. I'm honestly gonna go and have a look at where that other Honda driver is, because there is teammate Bauer, phenomenally quick. His teammate came and set a benchmark for him to try and achieve. I would guess. I don't know. I I I honestly have no idea. I see Mooney is back in it again, so he's doing double stunts. From Feeden is back in it again, doing double stunts. Again, very good to see Loreno. He's back in the mix here as well. So is Veronas. For the other BMW Lamborghini, we have Tarika. Again, your teammate drove epically well, kept it clean, kept it simple, chose his battles. It's now time for you to bring it up. No pressure, none whatsoever. Always good to see a car that no one really sees on track doing phenomenally well. So big ups to him. Who else is still on track? No, Van der Berg. Again, he's on track for Pace Motorsports. I reckon he did the first stint as well. So double stinting this evening. Again, nothing wrong with doing double stinting. This is a team versus team racing scenario. We do try and accommodate the best we can based on what we have at the present moment. The so-called load shedding in South Africa
Right, there's some rain in this session, so watch out for
has
slippery
been
curves
problematic
and
to create and do wonderful events. But nonetheless, we still want to do the best we can, get everyone to race, and then of course gain some points and position. So, where are we? Race 2. I'm probably not going to do a walk down of the grid again. It does say Paul Venter, Alan Patterson, Nel Bullion, Robson, Vermeulen, and those boys are on the grid. It is not them. It is the secondary driver. Those guys on the standing sheet on the left hand side, based on grid positions, have done their first 20 minutes of racing initially. I'm kind of suspecting that the fellow teammates will now come and watch the stream and see and pour them on and hopefully get some good results. Again, race 1, top 5, phenomenal. They drove like demons, took the opportunities where it was necessary, made a few minor errors here and there that cost them a position, but I think it was absolutely fantastic. Back of the grid, I would say from 6 upwards all the way to the back, it looked like a war zone. That's kind of where I'm sitting at. Lots of fender bending, scratches, squeezing, blood spilling, left right knocks. I don't know, just some were good, some were very entertaining. Again, that's what it's about. Trying to make a position stick. Unfortunately, the beginning of the race was a bit squealy. A few accidents here, but let's see. Round 2. Let's look at where this is gonna lead and go. What I can tell you, again, all the delta and everything will pick it up. The guys are going to do their warm-up lap. So front of the grid, we definitely have Sean Stradom. In the BMW is, of course, Chris DeSantos in car number 2. Then, of course, in car number 3 is not Nel Bullion. That will be Andries Dupree in the McLaren, followed by Wilfred Robson. Then, I believe that would be Ryan Barrington Smith in the Porsche over there. Followed by Varonas, and the names will pick up. So for those that are following me, I am currently on car number 8. Varonas is teammate of Vinal in the Chasing Beavers, who did a great drive. There we go. So Anthony Wilson here, driving for car number 333. Teammate replacement of Sean Skitter. who didn't have the best of race one. And of course, Tarika taking the place of Van Wyk for the motorsports boys there. Mr. Schnur driving for Duplessis. And of course, we will have Dave Young in the Aston Martin taking over from Gary van der Haar. Then Loreiro in LT Racing from the Bulldog Academy taking over from Mouton, who had, I would say, a very, very tough race the first 20 minutes. Bauer, who teammate Meyer went from 14th position to victory in a 20-minute race. How he went from 14th to 3rd and then 2nd within a lap is something I need to actually go back and review, because I would have never thought that that was possible. But again, red races can bring anything to the mix. Gerard van Vieren in the Nissan in car number 686. And then of course the Mercedes-Benz, aka Mooney, who was in all types of action with everyone ahead of him. So I reckon we're going to see a bit of more action in the next 20-minute race. Not a big fan of them personally. I don't know about everyone else on the trip. You can probably provide your opinion. 20-minute races for me is like Top Gun. Flying to the danger zone is kind of what I'm going. I'm not a singer, but that's just my observation. I love endurance races. I'm more of a long race kind of guy. Make it happen over time. Work the magic all the way through. That scenario, I can't do the Top Gun high action approach at all. Like, it just screams for havoc and chaos. But then again, the administration team throws it in the mix. I do have to admit, I do like the theory that we have two drivers driving two different stints though. Maybe not a 20-minute race, but it is actually quite not a bad idea. So we have two teams, two drivers in a team. One driver drives one stint, does something, and the second driver does a second race, trying to get points and capitalize it all in one night. Really love that idea. That has some aspects to it. It might sound weird for everyone else to do that, but it gives you the opportunity to support your team, watch what they do, learn from what they do, and then take from where we are. As we head into the race, these boys are going to kick it off quite soon. I'm going to start getting all excited now.
Go.
Green start. Again, Honda, BMW side by side as they go through corps. This time around, I don't see any yellow flags, so it seems like everyone has learned from what has occurred in race one. Let's see if they can keep it clean through Maggots and Beckets. Already a yellow flag in the back of the mix. Going to 6th place, nothing really up there that stands out to me. Again, Cal van der Berg keeping it nice and tidy there. So does the Honda in front of him, who again has made quite a few positions. It just seems like that setup of that Honda is phenomenal. Front to the back. Now this is going to be a different scenario. So Sean Stradom, I know he has pace now, but he's being followed by Chris dos Santos, who in all fairness came from a long luxurious vacation back into the same racing mix, and let's hope the bug has bitten him, because he seems to be back in the mix, back on pace, and well up to speed. Love to see how this develops throughout the race. In all fairness, I see that from where we stand, everyone is still close within one another. Again, Porsche there, driven by Ryan Barrington Smith, already in 5th position. Positions made and gained thus far. Biggest gainer is Dave Young at the moment. He has gained 3 positions, and then of course Bauer again 4 positions up from starting grid. And Honda has to be glued onto the wet track for it to make so many quick moves so quickly. I'm actually speechless. I do think Bauer might have his hands a bit full here because I don't think he's going to find it that easy to pass the individuals in front of him. And again, no ill intention. All I see is experience. Boys ahead of Bauer at the moment is all experienced sim racing boys. Those boys that know that every move counts, every corner counts, and I don't think they'll be that overwhelmed knowing that that Honda has probably the better set. And that's just my opinion based on the first race. I think that's a proper wet set. Well done to the boys for bringing that up. Curious to know, what are you guys using? Don't tell me your secrets, but again, just secretly pop it up in and there. As we see, Anthony Wilson made a big mistake there. He has lost a few positions. That puts Bauer back up in the mix to 9th position. Stradom and De Santos are close to one another. Robson, on the other hand, McLaren not leading McLaren, but sister McLaren, trying to fend off BMW and BMW on his rear end. Of course, that is the BMW of Schnur and Veronas, followed by Aston Martin. And then, of course, Mooney again at the back of the grid, made some positions. He is certainly up the spots. Van Vieren there is now battling it out with Van Zyl, who is teamed up with Hall, who really struggled in the first race. And again, when I say struggle, he had a couple of instances where he just outbraked himself. Now again, that is very, very possible. I mean, the amount of spray these guys see just going down the track. I actually need to see if I can see that. No, just look at that. So much spray, and then you still need to find your brake point. Make sure you don't overcook it, and then get a better exit out of it. That is definitely rough for them. So I'm not saying he did it intentionally. I'm just highlighting the fact that the amount of water spray onto the screen and actually having the ability to see where you are going is quite challenging. As we have the McLaren and the Porsche battling it out here for third place. Now Beddington does look very comfortable in the Porsche. Now I know he loves the car. Everyone knows he enjoys driving the car. And from the first race we did note down that that car has got some good pace. So question stands is how long is De Vries going to manage to fend off that Porsche? Porsche looks it on the inside, doesn't really make it. Can he get it to the following corner? No, McLaren goes defensive, but steps away though. Decides not to defend that greatly, wants to focus on his exit line. Now that might compromise him a bit because they went side by side. Abbey is the following corner. Ooh, very big mistake by him. Goes over the curbs. Car went flying like Superman, and that certainly has cost him. Again, look at this train. Verona's power up to 7. He has already made moves on Schnur. That Honda is phenomenal. Again, more positions gained. 7 at this moment for Fowler. This pink Honda is making a name for himself this evening. Doesn't matter what driver is in it, it is just phenomenally fast. But there's still big battles here. Is he going to stick it on the inside? Is Laredo going to give him the gap? No, Laredo closes it a bit up for him. Keeps it clean though. Now behind him, he still has a BMW and an Aston Martin. Have to be cautious on what you do. One tiny error will lose what you've gained. Again, now we have BMW, Laredo versus Bauer. Get so excited I coughed there nearly. Excuse me. 3 BMW cars on the mix. Ooh, this is gonna get ugly. But well executed by Varonos. Steps away, decides not to challenge it, but that opened it up for Laredo and Bauer to take the position. Puts Varonos under deep pressure. Dave Young goes on the outside. And then of course we got Cal van der Berg from Pace Motorsports. He wants to take the inside line. This is 3 side-by-side racing. Are they all going to go and squeeze it through? No. Aston Martin takes it on the outskirts. Is he going to have enough pace to stick it in? No. Varonos covers the line, forces them away. Great defensive driving. Now this is racing. This is what we want to see. These boys keeping it clean, keeping it tight, corner by corner action. Aston Martin takes the inside line, pushes the BMW wider on the outside. He's going to have more pace, but then again, Cal van der Berg wants to go through Abbey 2x2. This is going to be a deal. Ooh, 3 side by side. Ah, that was just never going to happen. Never going to happen. Oh, that is instant replay. Have to go back. Look at that. Unreal. Big eyes for all the boys that went and tried and did that. Let's just see Helicam way. So as we go through the corner, Varonos is compromised getting the exit. That gives Dave the opportunity to capitalize it. But then Cal van der Berg has just got that much space, wants to bring it on the inside. And as you can see, they're going to go 3x3 through Abbey. On any given day, even in dry track conditions, that's never going to happen. Cal van der Berg in Pace Motorsports, LNR Dave took severe damage because of that. Brave move. I would go with, was that needed? Did they have to? Big ups for them. Those are kahunas of steel to try and go 3 cars through Abbey in a wet track conditions. Like, I have to go, guys on stream, you talking, you that have had a race, hands up, how many of you guys would actually take the chance to do 3 wide through Abbey, even on a dry track? I'd probably go 2 cars, and that's pushing it. But 2 cars with a car behind you on dry conditions is a recipe for incidents. They tried, they unfortunately failed, but it was great action up until that point. Byington Smith has now gained position. Again, this does spread the pack a bit. Laredo has managed to sped away from Bauer, who is the biggest gainer thus far for the race, but so is Laredo. Both of them, apologies, have managed to gain 7 positions since the start of the race. Now this is what the LT boys were looking for. A good race, a clean race, something that they can take home and put the points to the board. Laredo is the man this evening. No offense to his secondary driver. It was a tough race. Nonetheless, he has still 10 minutes to bring it home. Back at the back, Gerard van Vieren, he is now battling it out with Varonos. Of course, these 2 guys got, I would say, squeaky clean out of the mix based on the incident that occurred at Abbey. Schnur is not far from there. Varonos got a 10-second penalty. Now that's quite interesting as to why he got a penalty. Would be curious to understand what went on there. Wilson, on the other hand, that did have a good race start, is all the way at the back of the pack. So is Dave. Now Dave's car would be probably okay for racing. I'm not 100% sure about this BMW though, because this one got spun around twice by other cars. So I reckon he is suffering with massive damage at the moment. Let's just see what his timing is on Delta at this stage. Last lap at 2 minute 30, and I'm guessing that is with the accident in question, because again Mooney was also quite slow. Sean Stradom doing it up there in the mix. Just go back here where all the action is. Mid-pack racing seems to be where everything is happening. Baronas with his 10-second penalty. Quite curious as to try and understand why he would get that, but I will leave it for the stewards to find that afterwards. Whether that is for I don't know. I don't know. Logic in my head tells me it's because I don't know. I'm just gonna stump up something that just doesn't make sense. Nonetheless, he needs to fend off other guys now. With the 10-second penalty, it's gonna drop him quite a bit at the back of the pack, probably all the way to 14th position, which is not gonna be his ideal race or where he would have wanted to end up. Nonetheless, the race is still not over. Now, of course, everyone behind him would be very aware of, as Schnur makes a big hiccup there, that's going to compromise his exit speed. That's going to put that Nissan right on the inside line. He's going to have to back out because, again, we don't want to have another 3-wide scenario into this corner. We all know what happened at Abbey. The position lost there by Schnur. Again, nothing that he can come back with. He seems to have the pace. Just needs to keep the nose squeaky clean, but also be aware that the guy in 8th has 10 seconds of a penalty, which will give him a position. So, win-win. Pansel in the LT Racing Chic SA car, driving or coming back. Can't recall that in the second race they had any incidents or anything. So having a good race, keeping it simple, keeping it clean, slowly catching up with the guys ahead of him. Van Vieren making a big move there on Veronas. Took the inside line. Now that was sneaky and cheeky in all fairness, but definitely looked like a chance. So just go back, see what he has done. Nearly Cameron does have the other BMW behind him, not close enough to make a move though. So how? No, I probably missed it or misread it. I misread it. I assumed he has passed Veronas, which he did not. Did lose a few places there. Still squeezed in between two BMWs. Ooh, as he goes very deep, opens up the door for the other BMW, squeezes it out again. Bit of racing contact between these guys. And that's just all of where you position your car. Now, the natural movement is that if you outbrake yourself, you will be slower getting back into it as opposed to your fellow competitor who breaks the line properly. So you need to be aware coming back onto the racing position that he might be going for the racing line. Robson, on the other hand, he's being chased down by the LT boy. So this race is still not over. 4 minutes left. Can Loureiro capitalize on Robson, knowing that Bauer in the Honda 99 is not far away from him? So I think the focus at the moment has shifted slightly. And again, it's good to have these gentlemen fighting it out for what I would say first place. 4 minutes left as they head into Abbey. And I would say Please don't do 3 wide there. Paul Venter clearing it up here, going Verona's course the pileup. Okay. Again, who am I to judge? That's an interesting verdict, though. I reckon it was dangerous for all 3 drivers trying to go through Abbey, so I would have penalized them all. Like, why would you do that? In what sense do you think 3 wide through Abbey is very wise? None. None is my opinion. None. Jacques Vermeulen on stream chatting out, so I'm gonna start talking and going, yeah, Berry's in third, doing his thing, loving the Porsche. Again, Jacques, you did look very well in the Porsche. You had phenomenal pace. In all fairness, as a McLaren slows down. Hold on a second, something has happened. Why did the Prius slow down? All of a sudden he went from 4th to 2 positions drop, and he's got a McLaren. Ooh, that's damage. I'm gonna have to see what has happened here. All looks well there for Dupria. Coming out the final corner. Tags the wall. Tags the wall, puts it in the other wall. Oh, that is definitely not what he would have wanted. No idea how he misjudged that. Like he just drove into the wall. No offense, Paul. Your sickness has spread it viciously. I would reckon a few doses of antibiotics to Paul before he talks any further to anyone, because that just looks like a P to the V Venter move. Leader on the final corners. I want to look at it. The Santos not far off, but this is where the action sits. McLaren versus BMW. They're on the final stretch. Stradom on the final corner. That is victory for him. Takes it this time round. Second place, De Santos from PWSR. Great drive by him. Very slack. Caught up with the individuals ahead of him. So good third place there. Robson on the other hand. Severe pressure. Final corners. 2 individuals hunting him down. 1 more corner to go. This is his 4th spot. I think he's got enough legs to make it. Does so. Laredo in 5th. Bauer in 6th. Dupria with his very damaged McLaren brings it across the line just ahead of Sneur in 8th. Verona's in 10th. 9th with his 10 seconds, but he has got Sheep on his rear end too. Ooh, wait. Race is not finished. Race is not finished. Look at me messing it up. I honestly thought the race was finished. Thanks. This is awful. I get all excited for this and the race still continues. I am fairly certain my crew chief and everyone said the leader was on the final lap. No, it was not. It was not. Oh, premature celebrations from the streamer. Premature celebration. Time to leave the wine, my boys. Time to leave the wine. Battle still continues as these boys go into their final corners once again. Now I'm really holding thumbs. Nothing changes based on what I said, because I've already gone through the whole excitement of celebrating with all the drivers. Oh, blonde moment number 2. I'll take it. I'll take it. So, Betty wants and can have 2nd place. Laredo wants and can have 4th place. This is officially the final lap. I honestly don't believe anyone can do anything. There we go. Stradom takes the victory. Well done. 2nd time I'm saying that. I'm so sorry. Chris De Santos will take 2nd place. He is very closely followed by Paddington Smith, 0.3 seconds. off him in the Porsche, taking third. Robson still fending off Laredo and Power. Thankfully, the positions has not changed. Laredo in fourth, Power in sixth. And now I can count the rest of the boys down. Schnur will be back in seventh. Again, great racing from him. Veronas will take eighth. Wilson in 9th, Dave Young 10th, Van Zyl 11th, Van Vieren 12th, Dupree in 13th, dropped all the way to the back with that damaged McLaren hitting the wall. Darkest, the McLaren in the Lambo in 14th. Hardly spoke about him. Great race, man. And then Mooney in the Mercedes-Benz will finish it off in 15th. That was eventful. To everyone on the stream, apologies for my premature race finish. Shoutouts. Well done to all the gents that did race. If I have to call it this evening, hands down, race 2 was far more exciting. Again, brave moves by the boys that tried to go 3 wide through Abbey. I don't think I'm ever going to forget that. But nonetheless, fantastic. Next week is the 14th of February. So to all the loved ones out there, have a good and precious time with your loved ones. For everyone on the stream, thank you for your support. This was a wild race. Appreciate you. Catch you all in 2 weeks. Best of luck. To everyone else, good night. God bless. Goodbye.